Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the British Tier 7 Tech Tree Tank Destroyer, the Challenger. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Challenger. It is a tank destroyer that I ended up 3-marking in the end, but you're not going to see that in this video because I had quite a few nice games along the way. So this is just a pre-video before we get to that point. And I was looking through my channel and I was like, have I featured the Challenger? Yeah, I did. I featured it back in 2021. And it was a Randy Duck replay. And I was like, oh, it's been over 4 years since I featured it. Well, let's make a video on it, talking about it, and then one day I can post the other video about the 3-mark, right? And these two games are pretty damn nice games in this tank. So yeah, the Challenger, it's got a choice of 2 guns. It's got a 17-pounder Mark 7 gun, or you can use the OQF 32-pounder gun, which you're going to see in both of these replays. Now, quite frankly, I prefer the 32-pounder quite considerably. Great driving, me. But yeah, I prefer the 32-pounder massively. Because if I use the 17-pounder, I just feel like a worse Comet. Sure, I've got a fully traversable turret if I run that gun, because you have a limited traverse turret with the 32-pounder. But I just feel like I have a bit more of an impact with the 32-pounder, because I hit harder. The penetration's decent, the accuracy's alright on it, just the shell velocity is a bit worse. Generally, on the whole, I feel like this is more of a tank destroyer gun than the 17-pounder, which, like I say, it just makes me feel like a Comet, but worse. So having this 32-pounder, which wasn't always an option on the Challenger, is a very nice gun. So the Challenger itself, it's got a 52 km/h top speed with a 20 km/h reverse speed, 650 horsepower engine, which is a 19.32 horsepower per ton ratio, which means that this tank does hit its top speed of 52 km/h quite easily. It's also got that very, very nice reverse speed at 20 km/h. That is a very good reverse speed on this tank, and it's pretty damn nice. So yeah, it is basically based on the Cromwell chassis, and so it does have pretty decent mobility, which is good for the Challenger. You've got a 20% internal fire chance, though, which is on the higher end of fire chances, and this tank does like setting on fire if it gets shot in the back end, so be incredibly careful of that. You've got 900 hit points, which is not too much, but that's very tank destroyer-y. You've got 30 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed, which means this tank does turn decently. It's not the fastest in the universe, but it's still decent. Ground resistances do not hold the tank back. You've got 227 meters of still concealment with the build that I run, which is very, very nice. 246 meters of on-the-move concealment, which again is pretty nice. 486 meters of view range means with the very good camo, you can outspot a lot of targets, and depending on the map, you can actually get some good spotting assist as well in this vehicle, which can be good for the old Challenger. You've got 19.55 degrees a second turret rotation speed, which is slow. It is a very slow turning turret, but that is a very turreted tank destroyer problem. You've got 0.33 accuracy during rotation, which is absolutely fantastic, with 2.86 accuracy during movement, which isn't so good, but that's the way it is. Most turreted, or most tank destroyers in general, have pretty terrible on-the-move accuracy, which means that the aim circle blooms out massively, and then when they get fully aimed, that's where their accuracy comes into play. Because you do have 0.28 accuracy at 100 meters, which is fairly accurate, meaning you will hit most of your shots as long as you lead it well enough. You got 1.84 second aim time as well, which means that the gun does aim in super quickly, and because the aim circle does bloom out a lot after moving, you will feel the aim time, but the fact is the 1.84 second aim time is pretty nice on this vehicle. You've got a 5.69 second reload, which is 2.9k DPM. It's very, very nice reload on the Challenger. Nearly 3k DPM is fantastic for it. Obviously, you can pump it up to 3k if you were to run vents instead of a camo net, but having that extra camo on the Challenger is a nice thing to have because the tank has absolutely no armor, unless they shoot the back of your turret, because the back of the turret randomly has a big armor block. But yeah, generally you've got no armor, so it's nice to be able to stay unspotted for longer. You've got 220 penetration on the standard AP rounds, with 252 penetration on the premium AP DS rounds, which is pretty damn nice penetration for a tier 7 tank. Means you'll be able to pen pretty much everything you're going to face, which is great. 878 meters a second shell velocity on that standard AP round isn't though, and that is not a nice velocity, meaning you do have to give a good lead at distance to be able to hit targets. 1,098 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APDS is above average, but it's still not great for an APDS round, or an APCR round in general, because mechanically they're exactly the same. But it's still decent enough, but you still have to give a pretty good lead to be able to hit targets at range, so bear that in mind with this vehicle. And you do have 280 alpha on this 32 pounder, which is, like I say, it's a nice punch when you're going, especially with 3k DPM. And it's just a pretty decent time with this gun. You have 10 degrees of gun depression on this tank, by the way, which is absolutely fabulous, meaning you are exceptionally flexible on a ridgeline, which is good for the Challenger, especially since it is a pretty tall tank. So having that extra, well, having that full 10 degrees of gun depression can be pretty delightful for it, generally. And you've got a minus 60 degrees and you've got a 60 degree yaw limit, I should say, either way. So your tank's turret turns 60 degrees to the left and 60 degrees to the right. So it is a limited turret traverse tank, as you've seen in this replay. And that goes for the Conway and the 4005 that are further up in this line, exactly the same. Obviously, the Charioteer does have a fully traversable turret. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the old Chally? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, with the Advanced Loader, the Camo Net, and Optics. Optics to be able to get that view range of 486 meters, so that I can outspot targets at decent distances. Camo Net to get that fantastic 227 meters of still concealment, with the Advanced Loader to get that great near 3k DPM. All three gun perks to make this gun as good as humanly possible so that I can play my tank destroyer role well enough, with the Camouflage Expertise and Silent Driving to get the camo down, the steel concealment down by 10%, and the on-the-move concealment down as low as possible, so it's as close to the steel concealment as it can be, so that I don't really get spotted as easily moving into position. Now, with the accuracy during rotation on this vehicle being so good at 0.33, you could quite happily drop the snapshot, because it'd only push it up to about 0.4, 0.5 accuracy on rotation, which is still very, very good. And then you could focus on something else, like reducing the amount of damage coming into the tank. You could run something like Muffled Shot to reduce the effect of firing on your camo, Green Thumb to increase your camo in bushes. Down to you, really, and how you feel comfortable playing the vehicle. So as you can see in that first replay, we ended up finishing with the victory. 6 kills, 3.2k damage, 214 assistance. The top gun, the ace tanker, with the 1845 base XP. A really nice game there for the Challenger in a tier 8 game on Siegfried Line, which isn't the best map in the universe for the Challenger. I mean, it's good enough that you've got good positions that you can play in it, but a lot of Siegfried Line obviously is a city brawl, and this tank isn't really a city brawler. It's more of a ridgeline sniper, and that's the way you want to play the Challenger. But if you can play that peekaboo role, and that's where this gun, this 32-pounder gun, is a lot nicer for me than the 17-pounder, then you can play that peekaboo roll, where you can pop around the corner, pop 280 into someone, and then pull back and get safe. And if you then wait for them to lose your attention, or, you know, they give up looking at you, you can just pop back around the corner and do it again. That's where the alpha comes into play, which is why I much prefer this gun to that 17-pounder. I didn't used to like the Challenger whatsoever, because I hated that 17-pounder gun. Like, I really did feel like just playing a worse Comet. And I liked the Comet, so I was playing this tank going, ugh, I wish I was in the Comet, right? And then they added this 32-pounder gun when they reworked some of the British TDs, when they added the big gun for the Conway, etc. And they gave more gun depression to the Conway, they gave more gun depression to the 4005, they gave 10 degrees of gun depression to the Charioteer, because, yeah, the Charioteer used to have I think it was like 5 degrees of gun depression for the Charioteer. Oh, it was atrocious. But no, it's a lot nicer, and the Charioteer is a fantastic tank that comes after this. It really is. I do love the Charioteer. But I digress. The 32-pounder revolutionised this tank for me, and I much more enjoyed the vehicle with it. So we're up to 1149 damage in this game on this map, which is Hidden Village. As you can see, it's a tier 8 game again. So we're just playing this mid-ridge. They've not really sent much down the AEB line, so we're just waiting for our light tank to spot things up so we can pump more shots in. The T41E1 is currently running around, and we're just waiting to see if anything else gets spotted back at B2A3 or the Tiger 1 to push him, but the Tiger 1's not pushing in. The Wheelie Boy comes in, we put a shot at the Wheelie Boy, and we didn't lead that well enough. That was a poor shot, really, and that meant that we didn't actually get the shot in. Just trying to adjust for where this Wheelie Boy might go, aim it up properly, and there we go. We hit the Wheelie Boy, and he gets shut down. So we're up to 1400 damage, and it is the time to move in. We want to go and try and pressure possibly the TD or the Tiger, or we could push up to E3 and start shooting tanks like the heavy tank spotted at F5 in the rear, which is actually what we're going to do, because we've got enough tanks pushing down the AB line and into C2, so why not start trying to cause some havoc on this position instead. And we see the AVRE, or the Churchill AVRE, the FV3903, put a shot into his side. I'm trying to get another shot into the back end before he turns around. Thankfully, he misses his shot. Then an SU-101 comes in. It's like, oh boy, we put a shot into the lower plate of the SU-101, but thankfully, because he's not got very good gun depression, he can't get the gun down on us, and he turns to focus shooting someone else. So we're just going to poke up, see if we can get any shots into possibly the Round Panzer or the AVRE, the Churchill AVRE, but the Churchill AVRE has left the building, and we actually do get a shot into the back of the Round Panzer, which is nice. The SU-101, though, fires a heat round through our turret. Doesn't really need the heat round for our turret, but there we go. And we put 2 shots through his lower plate. We're kind of lucky there that that guy missed us with the second shot. We probably shouldn't have poked there, because to be honest, I underestimated the DPM there of the SU-101. It's got a very, very good reload on that 120mm gun. I underestimated it, and thankfully, he hit the floor, so RNG went in our favour. We're now putting shots at the Round Panzer, get a shot into his side. He's now a one-shot. Really, we should have premium loaders so we can go through his cupola easier. Just trying to feather the shot, but that limited turret traverse is coming into play here and making it very, very awkward. Now the Eradicator's coming around the corner. We put a shot into the side of the Eradicator. He takes 2 shots and dies. Can we finish off this Round Panzer? Unfortunately, we hit our platoon mate there, which is just bad timing. Waiting on the reload, aiming at that cupola. We have the premium loaded now, which means, well, because it's all we've got left. And we put the shot straight through the cupola of that Round Panzer, finishing off that tier 8 medium tank. We're up to 3.8k damage with the 2 kills. There's only 2 tanks left. And I should realise that there's a tank on my left. And it's like, oh boy, that's a Hydra. He could kill me, conceivably, with a good roll. So we're just going to see if we can get a nice shot into his side, possibly. But we can't. It's just awkward with where the rock is. We can't quite find it. So instead, I'm going to go up onto the upper section. But then I realise, oh, he's backing off. Maybe I could get a cheeky shot in to finish him. And there we go, the cheeky shot through the lower plate with the premium APDS with 252 pen, and we shut down that tier 8 Soviet heavy tank. And we finished the game with 3 kills, 3.9k damage, the ace tanker, the high caliber, the Confederate medal, with the 1869 at base XP. A really nice game there for the Challenger, which, let's say, is a pretty nice tier 7 tank destroyer. A lot better these days since it got the 32 pounder, but it got the 32 pounder a long time ago. But yeah, that's the Challenger. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!